Hey guys, it's Nicole. I guess I should mute my TV. I'm back to share with you the layout that I made with some of the goodies Sherry got me for Christmas. There were a few things that I did not end up using, and I'm going to share those with you right now. I did not use the large labels from the new Fifth and Frolic collection. I still haven't broken into these, but I plan on it soon. I didn't use any of my basic gray buttons. I have to try to find a way to store these better. This is just a mess. And then I did not use any lawn trimmings. I just didn't use anything like with that type of texture. So those are the only things I did not use. And then one thing that I added, so wait, I guess first let me just show you what I did use. I used all three of these papers, I'm sorry, this one right here, and then I also used one square of this side. So those three right there, and I still have all this left from those pieces. I used some of the clouds from Studio Calico, and this is just a tip. If you buy paper tray ink dyes, they always come in these little plastic Ziploc bags, and I always save them so that way I can downsize from a large container like this that's really cumbersome and takes up so much room to something as little as this. So just a tip. I used a lot of this washi. I used a couple dyes for layering on here, and I also got a chance to use this like tree dye. I don't know if you could see that. You'll see it on my layout. I got to use one doily from what Bon Bon Scraps gave me like a year or two ago. I used quite a few of these stickers that Sherry got me, so thank you, Sherry. I used one of these stickers, and I used this one right here that was a fox. Oh, and I used the rest of this border. And then I was able to use these maple thickers to spell out Playroom, and I wanted, the title of the layout was Perfect Playroom, and so I finally got to use these, and I'm so excited. These are from, they're called The Weekender, and they're from Amy Tan, and they're a really unique color, and I haven't really used any of my like Scrabble tile looking blocks, but I thought since it's a playroom and they look like Scrabble tiles, that would be kind of cool. So let me show you the finished product. It looks like this, and let me just make sure I'm fully in frame here so you don't miss a beat. Here, let me just zoom out a bit. There you go. Okay. Sorry, there's like washi on my desk right here. Okay, so what I did was I did my original idea, which was cutting. Oh, and let me just show you the layout that sort of inspired this in case like you're curious. I saved it on my computer, but I didn't save the person's name. It was, oh, so I guess they didn't, well, it doesn't even really look like, my layout obviously didn't come out anything like this one. I hope I'm in. That's the one, and I got it from the Studio Calico site. But I did 3x3 squares, and I took a piece of white basil cardstock, and I distressed all these squares, and I planned on like kind of pulling them up on the edges, but I haven't done that yet. And I just sewed them really haphazardly. I even left some of the loose strings and stuff. And I sewed them down, and then I adhered that whole piece of white basil cardstock on this piece of craft cardstock, but before I did, I put just a little bit of that washi around the edges, just so it showed the little lines on it. And then I used some of that really tacky adhesive, this right here, it's from American Craft, to lay that down because there was so much sewing that it was rather thick. And then this is that photo, and I just cut it down to a 4x4 of the structure of Reagan's Playroom. And I just did some layering with some of the die cuts and stickers from the collection and a couple of the doilies, and all the inking on this layout is with charcoal color box ink. And yeah, and I just put this sticker on a pop dot, put a bunch of arrows pointing to the playroom, and I used a couple cameras. Up here I loved this. This is that die cut of that tree, and it's on dimensionals, and I like it because it says built with love and dreams, and you know, I just think that that's perfect. That whole Fifth and Frolic collection has really cute sayings for people that are like building a house or moving or something. And then I added a couple clouds here just so there was kind of like a little vignette of the outdoors here. And then over here I just put some cameras, meaning like the perfect playroom is the picture, you know, so there are the cameras. And then some hearts around it. I never knew when I was going to have the opportunity to use this fox, and I thought it was, again, playful, and it's a playroom, so I couldn't help but put it on there. Even though the pink really, you know, there was no pink on my layout, I think he looks perfectly fine. And I just kind of put these haphazardly down. I didn't really want them to be all straight and perfect. Then I cut 2 strips of the paper from up here just to kind of fill in that spot, and then I put some washi down at the bottom. And then I covered the photo and splashed white Mr. Huey across the layout. So I really like the color combo. I love the way it turned out. I considered splashing some pinstripe Mr. Huey, but then I just opted, or is it pinstripe? I'm sorry, that might be the wrong. No, that's not the one. Passport, I'm sorry. But I decided it would be too dark. So that's my layout. I hope you guys enjoyed. It was nice to do a layout prep and video afterwards. It's been a while since I've done that. Talk to you soon. Bye. Hey guys, it's Nicole, and I'm just going to add this video on to my completed layout video that I did the layout prep for last night because I got a little crazy and did a completely new layout, and I didn't do any layout prep because my camera was outside of my scrap room, and I didn't want to make too much noise because the baby was sleeping. So I'll just kind of show you now what I used. I made this layout primarily of scraps. I had some of this, and so you're going to see scraps. Some of this blue tone-on-tone chevron paper from the Storyteller collection, and so I used some of that, and I still even have more left, and I've used it on quite a few projects. Then, if you'll remember from the Soleil collection, a long time ago I made a starburst layout, and here's some of the scraps of how I cut out that starburst. So I used a big chunk of this paper right here that's kind of lavender. I used some of this My Mind's Eye Follow Your Heart Be Happy paper with the doilies on it just to do some layering. And then my large backing paper, that's my layout, you know, back. I can't show you obviously, but it was from the Soleil collection. So I did a color palette that I'm not really used to because I have difficulty when I use purples, but I absolutely love the way it came out. I also, for my title, got to utilize my Dear Lizzie thickers, and I just love these because the glitter's like contained in this, I don't know, kind of puffy sticker. So I thought those would be fun to use. And I also used for part of my title one of these artisan words. This is all I have left of that pack. I used a Fifth and Frolic tag finally, but I put them away so I don't have them here. And then I used 2 Allie Edwards stamps. I used the Celebrate Being a Kid stamp set, and I used this Celebrate Being a Kid. And then this one is called Loving Words, and I stamped the Every Day is an Adventure with You. And I did a lot of tone-on-tone stamping using Jenny Bolin Lavender Sachet. And I was very happy to use this because I don't get to use my purple stamp sets often. So it was fun to pull it out and utilize it. I used 2 different washies. This purple thin MT washi that I got from Sherry, who's T-Share in Japan. Thank you, Sherry. And then I also used this pale pink one. I used a few of the Soleil die cuts, and yeah, you'll see which ones. I used some of these banners right here that you'll see. And then I also used some Fifth and Frolic die cuts, but I must have put those away. And then last but not least, I used a button from my little button collection or button and badge collection, and it just had a butterfly on it. So let me show you how that layout turned out, and then let me just double check that I'm in frame here. Let's zoom out a little. How's that? There we go. Okay, so I used this as my background paper, and I thought I would never use this paper, but I actually love the way it looks. And then I added a big piece of that purple paper from the Soleil collection down here. And I guess I'll start by like clusters. So up in this corner, I made a little cluster with 2 scrap pieces of paper. Then I folded a doily over, so there's some on this side, and just used a little bit of adhesive to kind of adhere it down, but I wanted it sort of loose. Then I used 3 of the Soleil banners here, and everything is inked in London Fog, just so you know. And then I put this little ticket from, I'm trying to remember if this is from the Soleil collection or if this is from Fifth and Frolic. I'm not sure where this die cut's from. Let me just look at the Soleil collection back. No, it's from Fifth and Frolic. And I put it on a dimensional adhesive. Then I took this tag from Fifth and Frolic and backed it with some of that chevron paper going in the opposite direction, and inked the edges of the tag with Weather Vane, and used it as part of my title, which says Today Forever Cousins. And then I used that artisan word, the forever, and then here's those thickers. And then I did some layering here of just some of the scraps of paper. Like this one wasn't long enough to be a 12 by 12, but I like that. I like that it's just, you know, kind of short here. Here's that purple washi. A lot of it got covered up, but there was a strip of it right there. And then I used some of the artisan hearts just around. And again, since this is just sort of Reagan and her cousin Raleigh playing, I, you know, thought this was cute because it's like a little fox. So I added that there. Here's where I added this button. I got this in from Buttons and Badges. I bought like a random vintage set, and I didn't know when I would ever use this butterfly with these flowers, and I just thought this was perfect because it's such a feminine layout. And then I did some tone-on-tone stamping where I stamped Celebrate Being a Kid right here. I just thought it looked really good and kind of just blended in. And then I stamped that Life is an Amazing Adventure with You like over and over again as a border on the bottom. And then I did some layering here, and I just pop dotted it up. Underneath here, you can't really see it, is kind of the part of the paper where they write the title of the paper or the name of the paper. I just used part of the decorative portion there. So that's a good way to just use some of your scraps. Yeah, so that's it, guys. I just wanted to share that with you, and I will attach it to the other layout video. Enjoy. Bye.